Welcome back to Daktari Apikwan, where we are hosting the very amazing jamaa kona story, very interesting stories by Dr. Reuben, plastic surgeon. And sasa ametuambia his journey, which is actually inspirational and also very interesting. So Doc, sasa tutafika hapa, umekuwa plastic, umeambiwa umepewa the first complex.
My first call now.
My first surgery.
Yeah, talking in surgery.
Had you sutured before?
I had surgery before.
You had to
I was quite proactive.
Okay.
So my logbook haikuwa sikujazia chini ya mti.
Ulifanya.
Nilifanya. So nimeshona circumcise that young man 3 years old. It was under local. Because come
ametulia. Circumcise hakuwa.
So sasa you can't get general anesthesia. Yeah. Na ni emergency mtoto wako nje. So anyway. So huyo anaweza hey, daktari unashona kama plastic surgeon.
Who is this? Like an asthma.
It was a CEO. Tunarotate naye pia there kwa internship. So now we had to the December season. So many circumcisions going on now.
Circumcising December.
Yeah, circumcising December, the traumas, burns. We were exposed to all sorts of things. And then we rotate pits and obs tukamaliza. Now, in 2017 is when I joined internship. But 2018, when was it? I think March. March, there was a conference. Okay? There was a conference. That's up and now is where you need to listen now. This is where now God comes in.
Hallelujah.
Yeah, now for me to become a plastic surgeon, I was actually called. I always tell people, mimi niliitwa kuwa plastic surgeon. It was a calling because how things fell into place, there's just nothing that can explain it. So I go for a conference, SSK, Surgical Society of Kenya, holds a conference in Mombasa. 2018.
You go for SSK.
2018, so that now you know that I was actually called. You know, I tell people I was called to become a plastic surgeon, and they think it's jokes. But now 2018, ndio God ashuka sasa. Yeah?
Hajatumana.
God hajatumana.
Baba shuka usitumana.
If there's a year that I saw God in person was 2018.
Hallelujah.
God came down. So now, how did he come down? Now, 2018 March, Surgical Society of Kenya holds a conference in Mombasa. Okay? Now, when I was in school, it was my final year. UN, they say that we don't do a lot of research. We are being compared to Moi teaching at Moi University. So Moi, they have a research thing they do.
In undergrad.
So UN, we didn't have that. So I took it upon myself to do something in research. With the help of
as an intern?
No, in 5th year.
Oh, you're done.
In undergrad. So with Dr. Ojuka, it's not so Ojuka. So we do a study. And we are looking at the WHO surgical safety checklist. Its implementation and its use in KNH. And we found that really it wasn't being used.
The timeout.
Yeah. So the timeout, signing, whatever. So the conference now in March 2018, Dr. tells me, you know what, you can actually present this at the conference. Why don't you send an abstract? So I sent an abstract and it's accepted as a poster. Poster publication. So I tell Dr. Juka, Doc, I'm not doing a poster presentation. I want to present. And you have to find a way for me to present. Hata kama ni kuchelewesha lunch or something. So because
squeeze up on
tafutie tu mahali to squeeze. So and you're one of the supervisors of this thing. And na wewe ukupa one of the officials of SSK. So get me a slot, even if it's 2 minutes. So I push for it. They eventually get a slot. Now that time Embu now, see me, I'm still an intern. So Embu now, I was the only intern interested in going for that thing. So together the consultant. So the hospital actually sponsors us for the conference. So tulilipa per diem. It was 11K per day for like 4 days. So tukalipiwa per diem, tukaenda na Dr. Muli. He's now the correct soup there. So we called
that is Embu Counter.
Embu level 5. And it was initially called Embu PGH. Because Embu was the division headquarters of Eastern Province. So we are sponsored, we go for the conference. And nishatengeneza poster, hata gapa ndamwambia please push. So I eventually managed to get a slot. to present. So after pushing and pushing, it was towards lunchtime. So everyone is actually there. So now, seminar present. Present. Then there's one professor there. I think you know you. Anaitwa Professor Okendo.
Oji.
Professor Okendo at that time was the department chair. Department of surgery.
We call him Oji.
Professor aliniuliza maswali mengi bwana. Mimi niko hapo ka intern. I was myself and another undergraduate. So I'm the only intern presenting. So these are maswali, sijui statistics, sijui. Anyway, I was able to answer the question. So and a few other professors wakaniuliza maswali. So it made an impact. So now the plastics team was there. There was everyone was there. Professor Nagole, Professor Hainga, Dr. Laura, you know, Dr. Ken Adwara, 254. So he's also there. So Dr. Ken does a presentation. I think in Feb they had done the very first hand reimplantation. And it was a success. So they were presenting it at the conference. So when they're like, if you happen to come across such a case, this is what you do. If this is how you preserve the limb, put it in a urine bag or something sterile, and some wet gauzes, seal that, dig that, put it in a cool box. Mimi nasikiza tu. So yeah, anyway, conference kaisha, tukarudi. Mwezi hajaisha, I'm from call, then I'm leaving the hospital now, I'm going home. It's around 5. I'm leaving the hospital. And how Embu PGH is constructed, for you to leave the hospital, you're prepared to casualty. So, kupita casualty, you can decide to pass through casualty or outside casualty. So, hiyo siku mimi niko nje ya casualty, niko like, sinipitie ndani nione nini iko. Because nikiwa hapo nje, there's a pickup that came in with 2 gentlemen. Wameko huko Juma. So, this pickup, sasa, the first gentleman had complete amputation of the thigh. Complete. Thigh, mguu iko huko kando. So, he's bleeding. Morals inamwaga tu damu hapo. Then this other gentleman...
And he got to hospital?
Got to hospital, but he died in casualty, fortunately. Then there was this other gentleman who had traumatic amputation of the foot. Distal third leg and foot. So it was a crash injury. So the distal third was completely crushed, but the foot was well preserved. So now...
Wait, so the distal third katikati ndio hakuna?
Distal third, anko joint hakuna.
But the foot is okay?
The foot is okay, and there is that ear bone itango ajio. Sasa, so foot iko kwa kiatu. Kato. So anyway, wanapeleka wote casualty. Si mimi natoka casualty, mimi natoka sasa hospitali. I've been in the hospital the whole day. I was on call. I'm so tired. So niko like, wacha nipitie tu niseme. So the end napata wana resuscitate tu mwingine, so ikawasaidia wana resuscitate. Unfortunately, didn't make it. So then this other gentleman is like, hey, where's my foot? My foot, somebody save my foot. Please return. He was Egyptian.
Oh, yeah,
He was an Egyptian. So now, everyone is looking for the foot, blah, blah, blah. Mguu iruoga dustbin pa. Inakaribia dustbin nilizao with that. So napata huyu jamaa naye anapigia the console. So they're working on taking him to theater. Then they just complete twilight in the stage. But the guy's like, no, I want my foot saved. I want my foot saved. So ile way you look about your foot saved. We didn't have any other foot that was saved. The only case ni moja tu. Na ilikuwa hiyo ya hand. Okay? But sasa mimi nikasema, wasi walisema tukipata tu call. To call. So I took my phone. I called the doctor Nangone. Daktari, hi. Good evening. So there's this patient here in Embu. Now Dr. Nagole used to work in Embu already. So he did general surgery. They preferred for plastics or the general surgery in Embu briefly. So I'm calling this patient here in Embu with a traumatic amputation of the foot. The distal leg has been crushed, but the foot is okay. And he really wants his foot reimplanted. It's like, hey, Reuben, we've never done one. Just send me photos and see.
They've just done that.
Yes, exactly.
They want.
But the foot has now been done.
Yeah.
Just send me a photo. So I send him photos. So now, sending him photos, the foot is still in the shoe. Sasa hakuna mtu anataka kutoa foot kwa kiatu. It looks so gross. Looks so superstitious. Mimi nafungua kiatu, ninatoa foot, ninaiosha vizuri, piga picha, then ninaiweka kwa urine bag, na goes nini kudos. Kampigia na gole. Kamtumia picha, then call back. He's like, the distal third has been crushed. Normally these ones don't do so well. Zile huwa zinafanya vizuri zenye clear cut.
Yeah.
Guillotine. But it's like, you know what? Just send him, we'll try our best. Then we'll see what, if he takes well, and if it doesn't take, he'll try it. And this guy wants to be flown to Egypt. So he can't make it to Egypt for the implantation. Egypt can't implant. But we can't make it. So now, it's like, just send him, we try. Because now there's no other. If we try and he picks, okay. If he doesn't pick, well, go. So, between a rock and a hard place, basically.
So you sent it.
So, sasa si ni ambulance sasa. So, what story ya theater tuka-cancel. Because if we start going to the right side with all that, and my mother said, no, don't even take him to theater. Funga tu wood with crab, send him. There's a transfuse on the way. So, sasa kazi ni anami ya kupeleka mgonjwa hospitali. Hapana, si ni nasi. Si nasi ndio wanaenda na ambulance. Lakini mimi na kiherehere.
Okay.
Mimi na kiherehere sasa ninaanza kusema anyway, wacha niende nione vile huwa wanarudisha. Si hilo ni 5, so Nairobi tafika to 6:30. So kifika 6:30 operate mpaka to saa 3 hivi. Then nazenda nilale home. Because home Nairobi nazenda nilale home. Because nimekaa bila kwenda home. Then nilale home. Then I come back tomorrow. Hizo ndio masaa nilipiga. Then nikaenda kwa nyumba nikachange nini. Tukakuja na patient. So we had an elderly nurse. Nurse akasema yeye akai huko nyuma atakaa huko mbele na fly. So
kakaa na patient.
Kakaa na patient huko nyuma. Then damu ndio ina run. So na huyu alikuwa na best yake huyo. So tukaenda. Si daktari ako na patient, so nurse atana pressure. Everything is okay. So we came, tuna drive. Took us I think 20 minutes to reach Nairobi. Very fast distance, almost 120 kilometers. That's like 2 hours. So we get to Nairobi, and the guy initially wanted Nairobi hospital, but it's like, no, Dr. Nakole wanted Nairobi hospital. But it's like, the patient was Egyptian, Copitic Hospital is their preferred hospital, because Copitic Hospital is owned by Egyptian. So Dr. Nakole was like, okay, just bring him to Copitic. I think they had done another implantation in Nairobi hospital, I think. So that's why I prefer. So now we go now to Copitic. It's my first time in Copitic Hospital. So there is now Professor Nangole. Professor Nangole is waiting. Akakuja kamuona, then akaenda theater. Then mgonjwa immediately tukaingiza theater. Something I thought I'll take 2 hours, took 11 hours. 11 hours. We were starting at around 8:39. Professor Inga akafika. So now Professor Inga, Dr. Fegole na Professor Navgole, then the orthopedic team, the hospital team, Dr. Alphonse, then I think the anesthetist was Dr. Akram. Still they are big too. So it was a very big team there. So the orthopedic wakaona that crushed part would not do well, so they removed the distal third was removed. So now we had a clean surface. Middle third, distal third, thereabout. Clean surface that couldn't be replanted. So Dr. Nagone and Prof were like, this actually do this. Let's reimplant.
But the leg would be shorter.
The leg would be shorter, and it was shorter. But now there was limb lengthening. We did anything. We get there. So now, start the surgery. Then after like 1-2 hours, Dr. Nangole is like, you can scrub.
Oh, you want scrubbing?
I want the scrub. It's like, scrub. There was a student who came and scrub. It's like, Reuben, scrub. So I also scrub. So they're lifting a few things here, there, hold here, do this, do that. So we were there the whole night, man. So Copitic even organized food for us. So kufika around 3 to take break kidogo, but Dr. Nangole didn't take a break. Even Prof, they didn't.
They continued.
They operated the whole night. The whole night, not even unscrubbing, no toilet break. Wow, I'm just there very amazed. So I think it was around 4 a.m. now, and 3-4. The first started. Success. Then now we do something.
You start to, what do you start, like?
What do you start with? So you start by stabilizing the foot and the neck. So orif kwanza. So they did an orif. They did a plate. Then now
a bone. So you start from each side.
Start with the bone, stabilize the bone. Then now remember the injury was at around 4 p.m. Is a round record. So now then you want to reconnect the vessels as soon as possible. So we do the artery, the vein, and eventually the last thing we do is the nerve.
The nerve. Oh, the nerve.
The nerve you cannot. You can even decide not to do the nerve in that surgery. Come back.
Later.
Yeah. Because nerve you do an aircraft. So saa 2 kafika asubuhi. Tumemaliza, and the foot is actually perfusing.
The sun is pedicical.
The foot is warm. The sun is inachapa vizuri sana. You prick bright red blood. Like, wow. This will actually be a success. But it's still too early. Still too early to say. So, after 48 hours, they go back. So the guy was admitted in HDU. Then they go back to theater after the 48 hours for change of dressing and all that. Then they do the nerve graft.
They did it later.
And they do a skin graft and all that. So, sasa si wamemaliza surgery now, mimi nikaamua sasa nirudi Embu.
This is March.
This is around March.
March 20.
So the next day, nikarudi kapanda March nikarudi. Hata sikwenda home, nilitaka kwenda. I've slept in hospital the whole night. So now we go back to Embu, business as usual, internship, blah blah. And I forget about it completely. Then I get a call in April. From Dr. Angola. He said, hi Reuben. Yeah, that gentleman did very well. We actually have a press conference in the morning. It's nearly 9 p.m. and we have a press conference in the morning at 9. Please come. As the referring doctor, you'd like you to be there. Yeah, so sasa mimi niko like 9 a.m. Nitafika. Sijatoka. This is night. You're going to be at night. I'm supposed to be there by night. So niko like, nitapanda mati hiyo masaa nini? Kenda nikaongelesha ati yangu. My artist was a teacher at Kangaroo High School. Kangaroo Boys. Nikamwomba gari. Nikamwambia sasa nisaidie gari. Nitafuel, hede Nairobi, nifike by 9 for that press conference. Kapewa gari, kafuel. Thank God tulifunzwa kudrive tukiwa wadogo. So nika drive vizuri mpaka Nairobi. Kufika around 9:30 hawajaanza, so tukaingia. Then the conference ikaanza, press conference. So everyone is there taking photos. There is a gentleman with the bishop, professor, and all that. Nikaambiwa nisalimiane, nikasalimiana. Like, there was an Embu here who referred, who took the initiative. Let him say hi. He even came, he scrubbed for the procedure, let him say hi. So, they are very happy and all. Anyway, tukiwa hapo, sasa likakala registrars, Kenya registrars because of the Royal Bell. Registrars are students who are doing masters. So they're doing plastics. They're doing plastics. So plastics began in 2011, the program. The first group that came in 2011, they walianza plastics, because first year and second year is general surgery. So when I was in first year, that was 2011, the group that, there was an M-Med group, the master's group, they were dissected with us. So those are the guys that came and started plastics in 2013.
Oh, okay.
So the program had started and there were guys who had already been in the program. So I'm sitting next to Dr. Joey. Dr. Joey is a friend of mine. She's a plastic surgeon here in KNH. Dr. Joey is like, no, doc, by the way, if you applied for M-Med, now, utapata. Like, hey, are you serious? Then Dr. Juju hapo nesa, utapata. We apply. So nawapia hata sijamaliza internship na watu waigiangi after kumaliza internship, apply tu. Sawa. So, after the events, I go back to him. Karudisha gari yenyewe. Then, hiyo weekend, Sunday, nimebweka tu kwa nyuma, like, sini apply hiki. After all, ni online. So, niwekea website ya UN na apply. Kimchezo tu, wanataka saa tutuma. Katuma. The next day, invite. Have been invited for interview on this and this date. Interview is in June. Thank God tunamaliza internship. So I go to my consultant, by the I'll be called for interview in plastics. Na internship inaisha. So nisainiwe hizo vitu. So nikasainiwa. Kamaliza internship ikasainiwa. So interview is in June. And I think I had like 2 weeks, or 1 week. I even had to talk to someone at the board and please, niharakishie hii kitu because
you need a license.
I need the license for interview.
Yeah.
And the interview is in like 2 weeks or so. Anyway, nikaenda and thank God the license was out in a week. Kaenda nikachukua. 1 week later nikaenda.
Indemnity yangu kuchukua.
Indemnity nikachukua bwana 20,000. That was painful. Nikachukua. Now tukiwa internship, that same year 2018. There was a SSK bado, they were doing a ATLS training, Advanced Trauma Life Support, by the American College of Surgeons, ACS. Now, that thing was 38,000. Thing was so expensive. ACLS was cheap, 20, 25, 50. But we nataka ATLS. Yeah. So ninalipia ATLS 38,000. My fellow writers like, Doc, mbona unalipa pesa mingi hivyo kitu ya 3 days? Nikamwambia sasa zibi nataka kujua hizi biba. Anyway, I pay for it and I attend. It was a Red Cross here. So I also have now the ATMS license, certificate going into the interview. So now going to the interview. Before the interview, in 5th year, one of the rotations was in plastics.
Oh, you did a specific rotation?
As we had I think it was for 2 weeks. Yes. It wasn't specific, it was just it was part of Saturday, but if you were interested, you could rotate. And there was a whole list of the tutorial topics that could be taught if you were interested. So I was interested and my team was interested and I was the group leader. So kazi yangu ni kutafuta hao makonso. So makonso wote wa plastics wanapigia simu. Then there was one particular one called Dr. Edan. Dr. Edan nilimsumbua. Nilikuwa namtafuta hadi parking. Doc, kuja tufunze hii topic. Eventually gives in and akakuja akatufunza bats. So he teaches us and all that. Anyway, now going to the interview. This is in June. We're going for the MMet interview. So kuingia interview, guess sasa nani wa kwa panel?
You got some facts.
Professor Nagole.
What?
Professor Hainga. Nagole wasn't there, but Professor Hainga was there. Nagole I think was outside doing something. Dr. Adam. Nilikuwa nasumbua undergraduate.
So umekuwa hapa juzi?
Yeah, then there was Dr. Wanjeri and now one of the chief resident, Dr. Tulamuki, the chief resident. So now, maswali inaanza sasa. So they ask me, so tell us, demonstrate your interest in plastics. So I tell them, I was recently involved in the very first foot reimplantation.
You told the story.
Yeah, I brought the patient, I even scrubbed for the surgery. It was an 11-hour surgery. It wasn't something I was supposed to do. Mimi kazi yangu ilikuwa tu patient akuje na ambulance, but I was like, let me just go and see. Yeah, you see now I'm interested. Then also when I was in undergraduate, I was really interested in those topics. I was even looking for the lecture. And Dr. Eden was like, remember this guy?
Yeah,
I was so cute. Nilikuwa nanisumbua sana ni wafuze. Nakatika. Simpio. Haya. Then sasa comes the next question. Demonstrate your interest in research. Do you have any interest in research? The conference was in March. You remember I presented?
Yeah.
I pushed and made sure I present. So I told them, you see, I did a study on in undergraduate. In your end, if you do a study in undergraduate, you are considered a very serious student. Yeah. Because that was something done. So I told them, when I was in 5th year, I did a paper, WHO checklist, and I even presented it in the recently concluded SSK conference. Then Dr. Ho is like, we even saw this guy there presenting. He presented. Yeah, that was a good
one. Obviously, this process kama hizo kwa yapo. So you're like, hallelujah.
Hapo weka tu tick. Haya, then nikaulizwa, have you done anything else apart from MBCH? Is there something done on the side? Doing Dr. Wanjeri says, I haven't done anything on the side. Just something that is not medicine or something that. I told them, I've done ATLS, that's the other. Looks at the search, this is really nice. Yeah. The SSK one, you paid all that money? Okay. Then nikaulizwa swali moja ya plastics. So I think it was types of dressings. So there was some types of dressings. Nilikuwa nimeisoma the previous day. Thank God.
Keep your kind.
Nikajibu. Itabipoisa. Kukakaa tu hivi sasa tumetoka. Everybody else is senior. Hao nilikuwa nafanya nao interview. Mtu amewakisi.
You wewe hata
mimi fresh from
license ndio fresh.
License is only 1 week old. Sijui 1.5 weeks old. June 5th ndio nilipewa license. Ni time I think iko June 15 there about. Kama interview kaenda, then there was a conference ya plastics that I think in June July you attend. Nilikuwa Nairobi hapa Nairobi hospital attend. Then ninatry kuangalia lectures zile side body size wananipea. Kuna kitu wananipa. Hakuna side body language. Anyway, long story short. Nakaa tu hivi, there's that portal ya application. Nilikuwa nasoma pending sijui nini. Kuna acceptance letter up. You have been invited to pursue Bachelor of M and Master of Medicine in Plastic, Reconstructive and Aesthetic Surgery. Now, there's one thing that I didn't mention. During the interview, you also needed to show proof of sponsorship. So the SDH was like, we paid part of your school fees in undergrad, why not masters? So, kandikiwa barua. Eventually, I got that scholarship. So, yeah, aingia shule. Sasa, then I get a call from the medical director of Copitic. He's like, have you finished internship? Yes. Come, I want to give you a job. There's a medical officer here. Full-time job. As a way to thank you. Because that case put Copitic on the map. Because it was public news, everyone was talking about Copitic. And the numbers even increased. Patient flow increased, and they're like, come for interview. We'll interview you though, even if we are giving you come for interview. So I go for the interview and I meet Dr. Sak. He's like, go and see Dr. Tamar, who's a physician. He'll do an interview. Go and kaulizwa maswali za acid base balance, intubation, CCD. It's like, the job we have is for medical ICU.
So
So Embu, the year we're in internship, they started an ICU. So we were ready to rotate in ICU. You see how God is working?
And yeah, me God. Well, that rotating is not me God.
Like, okay, so nilijua mambo ya CVC. Stories of intubation, I knew how to intubate. So it's like, I think you've passed the interview. Now I'll give you the guy who makes the rota. Is called Dr. Mboya. Talk to him, see which shifts he can do. So that's August. Towards the end of August 2017.
And so shule unakuwa in September.
Shule in September. So that's a story with me. That year, the exams were delayed for the guys in school. So the opening date was pushed forward by a whole month. So we had to start September. That was pushed forward to October. So that the guys now can sit for exams. So, tumeingia ICU, the guys on the rota, almost all of them, actually there was just one more. All of them are in distress. Hawapatikani September, si wako exam. So she's the day shifts. Hakuna mtu wako do shift. So tunapewa day shifts. My first day bwana CVC hapo kanisumbua they kept an assistant. Anyway, I did all the day shifts Monday to Friday September yote. So come September now I have some good amount of money. The shifts are not that much paying. I think it was 12K per shift. I had like 20 shifts. So I had like 200 something. So by the time October is coming, I have the school fees for the whole year. Because school fees was 210. School fees for the whole year.
Within a month. So then
the scholarship hadn't kicked in. The scholarship will be good the next year. So I'm like, I have money for the scholarship. The scholarship still part of discussions are ongoing. So it wasn't a sure deal yet. But at least they had a letter committing. So
you paid.
So I didn't pay. Then after a year, October, now they send now. We finalize their scholarship. Money to start coming in January. So niko like hata hii pesa nilikuwa nilipe fees. Your is like, you can still pay towards the end of the year. So tukaingia shule. There was that first unit we did, country research methodology. We did it for 2 weeks, did a cut, and I think we all failed. Tulipa results mpaka wa leo. Anyway, yeah, that's how I started plastics. So tukaanza tena fresh anatomy.
Wow, dissection.
Physio.
So where you only worked as an MO for 1 month? Yes, obtained.
Actually, I was working as a registrar consultant. On admission.
You were doing like, oh, you already had it.
I've already got admission to your school.
So I'm where.
So I'd say I was an MO for like 1 week. Hiyo wiki tu ala process ule.
Right.
Anyway, so now tunaingia shule. Then I sit back and look at how things fell into place. How Dr. Eda tulisubana in 5th year. Akatufunza hadi hajanisahau. Then me going for that conference. Me actually pushing to present. And I actually get a slot. Those things, it's very difficult to get a slot in a poster presentation. Then getting to know how to preserve that plane, then that was shit coming. Because that guy could have gotten an accident in Nakuru.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Ama hata angepelekwa another hospital.
Ama hata angeenda private.
Ama hata ungepitia casual.
Ningepita nje ya casual kaenda kwa nyumba. I'm like, look back and the things fell into place. That's how the job coming in to the Copitic. Getting some income. Because I didn't have a job. Scholarship sasa jakuja, but I still need to pay rent. Because by the time I was
that's internship, that's just one thing, just to work.
By the time I was finishing internship, I had 15K in my account. 15K.
That's how I put my fiamba.
Pesa nimeenda my conference imeisha. Because after the SSK one, I went for the Kenya Orthopedic Association. I still presented. Then there's the plastics one. Pesa imeisha. Pesa nimetumia yote. Anyway, tumeanza ni MMed na 15K. Thank God, kajiwa Copitic.
Kajiwa.
Sasa ikakosa.
You are still doing local.
So, Copitic wanted to employ me as permanent, but now I told him I'm going back to school. He's like, okay, we'll retain you not longer. So, anyway, that's how our relationship with Copitic began. And yeah, it's been there till date.
And you worked there?
So, I worked there in school.
The whole 5 years.
So, unatoka class mchana. At night, you're doing a shift. The next day, you're at school. Then the night after that, you rest, then you come back. It was hectic. It was hectic. But I look back and najuza hiyo nguvu nilitoa wapi. Because I'll do like 10 shifts in a month. 10, 12 hour shifts in a month. Sometimes 12. And you're still in school, full-time M.Med. They kept me going anyway. And yeah, the scholarship letter kept hitting in January. And sasa ile 200 ilikuwa nilipe school fees. Nikasema sasa sina gari. Sasa endelea kutumia gari ya mzazi. So nikaenda kwa beshte ya father sales vehicles. So nikamwambia mimi niko na 200k, shika hii nipe gari. Nakulipa polepole. Tukanikana kimejawania. So 200k deposit, I bought a Vitz, Toyota Vitz. KCS. Very nice kaka. So anyway, so it's ATP. Yeah, 200k now I could go to school because for you to survive that schedule, school or job, you need a vehicle.
Then you can match.
So I bought my first car in October. Na shule ikaanza 2018. To sasa watu wanafikiri jamaa kuna pesa but Mwisho tu member internship umekia shule na kumeza
kwa wasio kama dog unatoa hizo dozo.
Kuna nini goes favor man.
Unasema niko watu wanataka.
And goes your kweli cause sasa uko like nilikuwa nilipa school fees but nimeweka deposit hii pesa ndio school fees ina come. Ndio my relation tu. So we did first year. First year was what? Anatomy, human anatomy. Now it's called surgical anatomy. Surgical anatomy, surgical physiology, and microbiology, and human pathology. Like, it was first year. Then our second year, general surgery, rotated orthopedics, urology, ICU, and there was something else. Then our third year now is where you start plastics proper. That is the starting in first year. But since we used to start in this, the curriculum changed. We used to start plastics in third year.
So you do third year.
So now I went into third year now, thinking now I'm going to do cosmetic. Theater is ya kwanza imejaa burns. 50% bites. But that thing was smelling. The dressings. That was my first day in plastics. Now dressing.
But then now
50%.
you're practicing in KNH. Is there any cosmetic really training?
Cosmetic is there, but it's it's private. It's for the seniors. So the seniors,
Registrars or seniors?
senior registrars. So now senior registrars are the ones now who the cosmetic was being done by the consultants in their clinics.
Okay.
In private on age. So that's why now you'd go and get to see the cosmetic side. But some of the juniors, purely reconstruction, third year. Purely reconstruction. Burns, ward. Third year was hectic.
Flaps.
Flaps, monitoring of flaps. You do a flap, a free flap, every 2 hours. You have to go and see a flap. Is it perfusing well?
2 hours.
Every 2 hours. So if you're a class of 3 people or 4 people, you vote.
So
For the first 48 hours. We suffered. Third year we suffered. At some point we even complained, we have a lot of work. Every year, every third year class will always complain. But we are told, you see now, if you don't do it, who will do it? The class ahead of you also have done it.
Yeah.
Then the class ahead of us had a few casualties. In the casualty, walishikwa exam, a few of them.
Wakabaki ama
Wakabaki sasa. So tuko na hiyo uoga sasa, hata tukiokea sana tutashikwa. Anyway, third year came, exam came, I passed. I was still a chief in third year. So in first year MMet, I was chosen as a deputy chief resident. As my senior was the chief resident. So first year, second year, going into third year, I became the chief of plastics, assistant.